Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Really bad.
Fine. What happened?
Family stuff, real life stuff, not school stuff.
Sasha.
Hey. Hi. Bye. Hi, bye.
Yes.
They just look at themselves. The kids just look at themselves on Zoom. I think
Want
adults do that too, but my nephews do the same thing. When I talk to my nephews, they're just like, they look at me for like a second and then they're just staring at themselves.
you want to see all my teachers?
Yesterday in grammar class, I think I got to meet 3 kids, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a very tall little 4-year-old, very tall. That's enough. Yeah, that's enough.
Будь ласка.
Was the end
He
of this
wants me to tell you a story about their elf.
About what?
About elf Santi that came to our house and gave them presents.
That sound, I mean, I could understand. If I were a kid, that'd be a pretty exciting story. How you doing?
As always.
Yeah. How's your other classes? You have finals coming up next week or what?
Yes. Too much, especially chemistry.
Uh-oh. He got the big eyes. That's not good.
Case.
You bet you're about to be in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah.
My husband was one night at home. So
Oh yeah, this week?
Yesterday only.
Is he really happy when dad's home?
He doesn't react for me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
For a month, only for my husband.
Well,
so I will call dad.
Yeah, you're home every day. You know what I mean? Like he sees you every day. So yeah.
And he don't have the space to release his energy.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I'm ready for this all to be over. I think things will be better in 3 or 4 months, but I'm ready. This sucks. What's up, Edam?
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm not really okay, but I'm gonna say I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Will you have a final exam?
This class? No, I don't want to do anything, honestly. It was already bad. The last 2 weeks have been really bad. And then this morning, just this morning, I got the call from my mom's skilled nursing facility and she's positive for COVID. So she's transferred to the ICU in the next 48 hours. So my brain is not even in my body right now, you guys. I can't even think. So I I don't know. I'm talking to my boss and stuff and how to take care of myself for tomorrow, but I didn't want to just cancel class today. So I have an idea I want to do one more writing activity, but I don't want to do like a test. I don't want to do like an exam. So my brain, like I said, I'm ready to be done. I need some time to take care of real life instead of just school. Hey, Nasir.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. I got all the information for the EOP, Nasser. I got it. So I
Thank you,
created
Professor.
a profile and looked at the system, and I'll definitely have it done soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Hi, classmate.
Hey, Olga.
Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, so we'll see this year. Yeah, what else? So before everything got crazy in the last 2 days, I finally finished grading for my other 3 classes, but this one I still have to finish grading, so I feel really like in a tough spot. But how are you guys with the book? Did you finish the book, or have you read any more? Are you done? What's going on? Gloria says no. Again, there's no.
I finished the,
Okay,
the
good.
book.
Not finished.
You didn't
Olga.
finish.
Yes.
I read, but I didn't finish.
Okay, Olga. No, okay. Good. You guys are as done as I am.
Yeah.
We'll see who's here then. Okay. If that's the case, then I definitely have some ideas. Give me 1 second here while I'm going to add one thing in Canvas. I think then, yeah, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. We'll see who else shows up and we'll get started in about 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to mute myself real quick. I'm here, but I'm in Canvas, like doing some computer stuff. So if you need anything, just say my name. But I'll unmute myself in about 2.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just doing some Canvas stuff for a second, Irina. I'll be right back.
Okay.
الكل صامت.
Okay, thank you guys. That took longer than I thought it would. Thank you. What is the meaning of I got you down? I got you down. I think I know the context you're talking about, Ruba. I think if you're talking, were you making an appointment or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got you down is an idiom that means basically I have you scheduled for this time, or I have you scheduled for this.
Okay,
So like I've got you down for
the list.
yeah. So like I've got you down for 2 o'clock on Friday, something like that.
Okay. Yes.
Yep. That's
because I talk with Asia. She is the clerk of the LRC Tutoring Center, and she asked me if I will tutor on the final week.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Perfect. And a great question. Totally. I don't know if that's just California, but definitely American English idiom. I've got you down for, you could say for numbers too. So if you're talking to somebody, I've got you down for like three boxes of cereal or something. Imagine if you're ordering something or placing an order, you could say that too. So I've got you down for Friday at 2 o'clock, or, oh, I've got you down for 3 pounds of rice. Yes? Okay, great. So yeah, it's that kind of idea.
Okay.
Love it. Great specific question. I love, feels good. A question I can answer easily for you guys. Okay, I'm going to start to share my screen. All right. Hello to our small group. It's nice. It really is nice to see you guys. It really is nice to see you guys. So, yeah, I talked to Olga and Sapida a little bit. I'm a little bit of a mess today. I'm just got a lot of scary stuff in my own personal life with my family and healthcare stuff. So I just want to be honest with you guys, like always. My brain is not in my body. So if I seem disorganized, there's a reason. So I don't have too much of a plan today, honestly, because it's been a really bad couple weeks, but I do want to talk. Gloria was asking about the final. So I do want to share some class stuff with you, and then maybe we can open it up to questions and then see what happens, take it from there. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first announcements. So the first announcement I want to say, and I'll show you this stuff in Canvas too, is there's not going to be a final exam for this class, no test. Or anything you need to do, but there is going to be one more assignment. So it's not a timed final exam. Instead, there's going to be a final reflection activity. And the final reflection activity will just be a chance for you to respond to a few questions about what you learned in this class and what you hope to build on in the future. So I'm going to show you that now and answer any questions that you have. So if you go to, let me switch to student view here. So if you go to student view, well, I go to student view. My internet is a little, it's working as slow as my brain today. And then go to assignments. And then upcoming assignments. So there's two we're going to talk about. One's reflection, one's extra credit. We'll talk about both here. But here's the final reflection. So the final exam for this class will be a personal reflection on your own learning this semester. Please submit a Word document that answers the following 5 questions. And I strongly encourage you to write at least 200 words per question. Again, I'm tired and life is hard right now. So if it's fewer than 200, that's fine. But I do want you to really, you know, answer these questions in a serious, thoughtful way, like I sort of usually ask you to do. So the first one, what's something you really enjoyed learning this semester? Why did you enjoy learning it? 2, What's something that you wish we had learned more about? Why do you want to know more about this? And how do you plan to learn more about this in the future? 3, how has this class changed the way you think about reading and writing? If the answer is it hasn't, explain why it hasn't. Number 4, how has this class changed the way you read? And number 5, how has this class changed the way you write? So again, not a final exam with specific right or wrong answers, just a chance for you to reflect on some of the stuff that we talked about this semester. So again, this is not like a timed final exam, but I am putting the due date for this on the day that our final was going to be. So this is due before midnight on December 15th. I think that's 13 days from now, right? Basically. Yeah, you basically, so this will be due before midnight on the 15th. Questions about this replacement for the final exam?
How should we write this final reflection in the Word document? It's like it will be like a response to these questions.
Exactly. You don't need to worry about constructing an essay, Irina. If you just want to copy the first question and paste it in the document and then answer that question, right?
Okay.
And then copy the second question, answer that. So I'm not looking for an essay. It's exactly like you just said, Irina. It's just more like a response type of structure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Gloria, what's up?
The first 2 questions must be about this class or can be about all class?
Yes, when I talk about extra credit in the moment, I'll ask you to talk about other classes if you want, but for this one, I am asking you to think really again about this class. And this is kind of an activity called, I'll put this in the slide here. I don't know if you've ever seen this word or I've talked about it before. I think I've talked about it before too, but this is part of this thing called meta-awareness or metacognitive awareness. And it's not just for language learning, it's really for all learning. More and more, the research is showing that when we ask students, or when we do this in our own daily life, when we do something and then think back on what it was and ask ourselves, okay, what did I learn? How did I do it? What would I do different? What worked? Something about that really helps the learning like sink into our brain. So that's the idea behind this kind of activity. It's a chance to do sort of one final metacognitive awareness activity. So just for this class, Other questions at all about the non-final final? Easy, cool. So hopefully one less thing for you to worry about at the end of the semester. Let me minimize this.
What's about our grades?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you're laughing. I'm not laughing.
I'm nervous about my grade.
Honestly, Irina, again, I don't care that this is being recorded. I don't care. Like this semester, what to say? I was able to finish the grades from my other 3 classes during the Thanksgiving break. And then all this stuff started happening with my mom and she started getting very sick and then all this stuff. So, and then I didn't finish grading for this class. So I hate that. That is making me very unhappy. But all I can say is in terms of you know me, I'm much more concerned about you guys and your learning. If it comes about your grade and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I should get an A in this class and I only have a B, we will work it out, Irina, honestly. And I'll get everything graded as soon as possible. You know, because you're right, you are right, and it's killing me. So again, trying to make life a little bit easier by not having a super stressful final and stuff for you to worry about. So then the other announcement that I wanted to make was about extra credit. So I'm also going to give you all a chance to earn up to 30 points of extra credit this semester. I'll show you what that looks like right now. So for extra credit, all I want you to do is video record yourself, or if you don't feel comfortable doing a video recording, you can definitely do an audio recording, that's fine. Answering 6 questions about the design and execution of this class. There's no minimum or maximum time limit. all you have to do is to get the 30 points is to honestly and thoughtfully answer the questions. And I'll show you what that looks like here in Canvas as well. So if we go back to assignments and click on extra credit. So when you click submit assignment here for extra credit, you're going to get that record or upload media. So again, you can do audio or video. So here's the instructions. For this assignment, you can earn up to 30 points of extra credit. To do this, you need to video record yourself answering the following questions. There's no minimum length or time or word count. All you need to do is answer the questions truthfully and thoughtfully. So one, this is like Gloria was saying, how did this class compare to other online classes you took this semester? 2, do you feel like you did more or less work for this class than your other classes? 3, do you feel like you learned more, less, or the same as your other classes? 4, what were some of the benefits of having no or flexible due dates? 5, what were some of the challenges of having no or flexible due dates? And 6, would you recommend that other teachers use a flexible, that should be use, I got to fix that. Other teachers use a flexible or hybrid course design, why or why not? And by flexible and hybrid, I mean this idea of no due dates. I mean this idea that we only have one Zoom recording a week. I mean that I record the Zoom meeting and make it available to you guys at any time. I mean that I don't take attendance. That's the kind of stuff that I mean. Because like, I've always been honest with you guys, I'm trying new stuff, right? Like, because we're all in this new and different situation, I'm definitely trying different things. Some teachers, you know, teachers are doing this in all different ways. So I'm asking people to do this and giving you extra credit to do it because I think there's nothing more powerful for teachers than hearing from students about what this experience is. So I'm not going to post your recordings on YouTube, you guys, but I might share, or I might say, hey, to another teacher in the department, hey, like, students liked this about this class, or students didn't like this about this class, right? It's really a chance for me to make the spring semester better. And again, we are going to come back to campus someday, hopefully in the fall. I don't know. But let's be honest, like, education is never going to be the same after this, right? We're not going to go back to exactly how it was. So your opinions are really important to me to help my own students in the future, but also really helpful for me when I talk to other teachers and sort of fight for ways to make this online stuff better in the future. So that's why I'm asking you to do this and giving you the chance to get extra credit if you do want to do it. That was a lot of you got a lot of explanation there. Any questions about extra credit, how to do it, what's going on, what's it for? Any questions? Nasser, please.
Yes, my question is about the extra credit. Can I have prepare my 6 answer about the 6 question, and then I can read, or I need can I read? Prepare my question, my answer already, and then I read, or I speak.
Yeah, sure. If you want to, Nasser, I think was saying, yeah, if you want to write out exactly what you will say and then read it, that's fine. That's totally fine. Okay. Again, my intention, absolutely, Nasser, yes. The answer is yes. But again, I just want to say my intention, my goal is, why I wanted to do video and audio recording is 2 reasons. One, easier, I think. And second is, I just think, like I said, there's nothing more powerful than hearing students talk about their own experience. And then, like I said, I can say to a teacher or even show them, like, look at what this student said. Like, they said that this was helpful, or this helped them feel less stressed out, or whatever. Like I said, I'm not asking you to only say good things. I really just want to know what your experience was like, and how you can help me help make this better for everybody, for all students, especially ESL students at UC.
Okay.
That's the goal. Sapida, yes.
My question is that how we can upload the video or audio for extra credit.
Yeah, you can do it. So if you click, so I clicked submit. If you click submit up in the right, which I already did, then you get this record or upload media. So then you get this option, record media. You can do mic. You see the blue is already moving because it's picking up my sound. If you do want to do video and feel comfortable doing that, all you have to do is hit webcam. If you do it on your phone, it's even easier, Sabita.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I can't click this right now because Zoom is using my webcam for our meeting. But that's all you have to do. Click that record upload button. And then if you want to do audio, just keep it on the microphone. If you want to do video, just hit webcam and then hit that start recording button. And that's it. Super easy. Make sense? Has anybody done this? And has anybody done this for a listening or speaking class? It's pretty, I think it's getting pretty normal for teachers to have students do it this way for recording video. Did you do it?
In your class?
Listening class. I know we did that in the listening in 320.
We were recording our poems.
Gloria, that feels like 3 years ago to me. That is crazy. That was spring. That was this year, Gloria. That is crazy. Anyway, Gloria was in my listening class. Yeah, that was like 9 months ago. It really does feel like 3 years ago to me. Yes. Other questions? Any other questions? Cool. That's it. That's all I want to do for the rest of the semester. That's the only thing that's due. That's the only thing that I'm asking you to do, assignments for the rest of the semester. Cool. All right. And so again, I just wanted to make that, oh yeah, what's left? So this is the slide that's exactly like I was just saying, what's left for the semester? So we have our Zoom meeting today. You're here with me right now. Zoom meeting 1 week from now, week 16 is the final week. We do not have a final exam, the final reflection. Ooh, let me fix the date. I'm sorry, I had the date for the final wrong. So the final reflection is due before midnight on Tuesday of finals week. That is Tuesday, December 15th. And extra credit is also due before Tuesday, the 15th at midnight as well. That's it. That's all that's left. That's all that's left. Cool. Questions? Okay. Now I want to hear from you guys a little bit. Like I said, I heard from a few people asking about the book. Nasser said that he had finished the book, which is awesome. Some people said that they had not finished the book, but I'm just trying to think about what would be the best use of our time right now. Because again, I don't have a lesson ready for today. I've been on the phone with doctors for the last like 3 days straight. So what's going on? Like, what's the best use of this time? How can I help you guys? Do you have questions about the book or about summary and response? Or do you just want to go home super early and do work for other classes? Like I'm just being honest with you guys, like I'm a mess today. So what would be but I'm here to help you if you need help. But if you're like, Jeff, we don't need help, we want to go home, that's fine with me too. So I want to hear from you guys, as always. What's going on? What do you need? How are you feeling? What's going on? Do you want to talk to each other about that first instead of doing it in the big group, or you want to do it in the big group? There's only 6 of us.
Still in the bigger group.
Yeah, Ruba's like, let's stay in the big group. There's only 6 of us. Okay, how are you feeling? Yeah, I want to hear from anybody who wants to share. What do we need today? Like, is there anything I can do to help you with this class today? That's my question. Other than, Jeff, get your shit together and grade my homework, which I agree with. But short of that, how can I help you?
Okay, let me start.
Yeah.
Break the silence. So regarding the extra credit, is there like a video length or there is no specific time? We can just talk however.
Yep. Like I said, I know it's not giving you a specific minute or word count, but yeah, as soon as you feel like you've answered the question fully and honestly, then that's good enough for me.
I like that format. That's pretty
sweet.
Cool.
I think it should be. I hope that it's helpful for you guys. I know it will help me, and I know it will help me fight to make this better for you all in the future. Because like I said, even when people are talking about the fall semester now, people are definitely still saying, oh, well, maybe, you know, we'll have in-person class once a week and we'll have Zoom another day. So, I mean, like I said, this online stuff is not going away. So figuring out how to make it better is really important. And I think hearing from the students is the best way to make that happen. So again, that's my goal.
Cool. I really like onlines. I don't even have anything to compare with because this is my first semester, but so far I like it.
Good. Well, you could compare. Do you have other classes? Do you have other classes this semester where you have attendance or they make you come to Zoom?
Yeah.
So
just Zoom.
Yeah. So you could compare that, Liz, right? Like for this class, no attendance, you don't get points for coming, you don't lose points for not coming. And like I said, I'm not even saying that's better or worse. I'm just curious what, you know, I'm sure some students are like, oh my God, I love that we have 2 Zooms a week and we have to be there. I'm sure, you know, there's lots of different types of learners. So I just hearing different opinions and perspectives, I think is really valuable. So
yeah.
That's the goal. That's my goal. Anything else, Liz? Aside from extra credit, about how you're feeling about today? Anything you want to talk about or review, or you're done with this class?
Honestly, like, not really. I'm just thinking about my finals because I got 12 units and all of them. The finals are coming next week, so I'm like, I need to be prepared.
I think I appreciate that honesty. Yes, I understand. Perfect. Cool. Well, one less final to think about, Liz, for this class. How about anybody else? Stuff for this class, questions you have? Can I help you in any way? What's going on?
I want to say something.
Please, Ruba.
About this book, Hyperfocus.
Yeah.
It's really from our life, and we did all this, but we don't focus on. He is just analyzing how we focus on things when we do things.
Yeah.
And
did you finish the book, Ruba?
No, I have.
Okay.
I reached to page 186.
Oh, you're almost done. You're really close.
I'm in chapter 9.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree, Ruba. I think, like I said, students love this book because I think it's very real. It's a really real, I mean, like the ideas he is writing about are very important in daily life. Was there one idea or one suggestion or one research study or anything that was really useful or interesting to you, Ruba?
Yes, I love the sentence when he used the words from the same style, just like attention and intention. And he said, when we train, you train your brain, so you will find how much you will gain, for example.
Oh, so you like the rhyming, you like rhyming words.
Yes. The other sentence he said of collection, how to connect dots.
Yes. And that's at the end. Like I was saying last week, I love the sort of, we focused on some specific parts of the book, but I think that at the end, it's here on page 131, where he starts the second part of the book about scatter focus, right? Yeah. And this idea about, okay, focus is very important, right? When you're trying to make sure you're accomplishing a task, finishing a goal, working very hard, you want to focus. But then he also says what is interesting, right, is to bring balance, there also have to be times when you kind of let your mind go a little bit, right? And I love, like when you were saying, Ruba, and then what happens, well, he argues, his suggestion is, and he points to research, of course, that supports this idea, that when you do that, when you let your brain relax and kind of daydream or wander or whatever, then you start to see connections. You start to connect the dots, like you were saying, Ruba, and you start to see and understand things in new ways. So was there that connecting the dots part? Was that
yes.
the idea that really?
He said the more valuable dots we collect, the more we have to connect.
What page are you on, Ruba?
I don't know the page, but I wrote just the sentence.
Oh, okay, you wrote down.
But it is in chapter 9.
Yeah, and I, like you said, Ruba, that starts on page 171. He starts to write about connecting dots, and then exactly like you said, the next chapter that starts on page 182, it says collecting dots, right? So connecting dots and then collecting dots, absolutely.
He means dots, ideas.
Go ahead, yeah. Where is this one? There's one quote. Oh, it's here. Excuse me. It's on page 172. There's again, more data literacy stuff. There's this picture, this diagram of sort of how he explains scatter focus, right? Sort of what is happening. And there's this idea that if you are, again, the circle is your attentional space, right? The circle is how much attention you have available to you. And his idea okay, after you focused super hard, okay, you're Liz and you have 3 finals and you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? How do I do this? Okay, I make a plan. I've got my hours that I'm gonna study. I get ready, whatever. Okay, after you do that, he's saying you need to shut it down, right? You need to relax. And he's imagining that you're in the world of your attentional space. When you're relaxed, you sort of have ideas come in, ideas come out, feelings come in, feelings come out. And that idea, Ruba, is that eventually, right, like ideas that are outside of the circle get sucked in, and then you can choose, you can decide like, ooh, like, do I want to think more about that? Or do I want to focus on that? Do I want to practice with this new skill or something like this? So that's that idea that he's showing you here on 172. And again, I think, I don't know if you guys agree and have this in your experience, but you know, I want to show you a diagram here, a picture.
He said to sleep on a problem.
I agree. I mean, I agree with that completely. In the past, I used to feel like I can't go to sleep until I understand, or I have to know the answer right away. But as I have gotten close to my 40s, I'm like, oh my God, sometimes it's enough to just be like, I'll think about this tomorrow. I can't deal with it. Okay, so there's this idea called linear thinking. I want a diagram like this. This is nonlinear. Oh, this is good. Yeah. So I think that oftentimes people think that being creative or working on something is a linear process, entirely linear, right? You start at the beginning, then you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, right? Like, and there's a big bias. And I think, speaking of US college classes and class design, I think most college class design is totally set up this way, right? You do step 1, you master step 1, then you do step 2, then you do step 3. But this idea of scatter focus in the book is often called non-linear thinking. And that's the idea that really, when you're thinking about a problem, you're working on a project, you're studying for a final exam, you're writing a paper, I mean, thoughts come in and out, right? Like, it's not really like step 1, step 2, step 3. And so his point about this idea in scatter focus is that's the balance, right? When we get too obsessed with linear thinking, what happens is really we get stressed, we get tired, our brain stops working really well, we don't think very clearly. So we don't actually end up being very productive because we're like obsessed with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And this scatter focus is this idea that like things come in, things come out. And when you allow things to come in and out, again, choosing to do so, you don't want to be in scatter focus all day, every day, but you do want to have a balance, right? So sometimes it's great to be super focused for the next 3 hours. I'm just studying on my exam. But you know what? Like studying for 7 or 8 hours in a day might not be a good idea, really, just for how human psychology actually works, right? Because eventually the brain gets tired and gives up. And that's a big part of the idea that he's talking about in this final half or final section of the book, Ruba. Do you have this experience? And I know Ruba, Ruba remembers an electrical engineer. Electrical engineering is very linear, right? I mean, like it's very, you have a process to complete, right? Like, have you had this in your experience? Do you feel like scatter focus is helpful in your career or your experience, Ruba?
Yes, when I do sometimes I do a MATLAB program, I need to hyper focus. Everything annoyed me. Even someone is working in the kitchen or someone is talking.
Yeah.
Even the sound of the passing cars. Everything annoyed me when I want to hyper focus on the program because I want to see how the equation wrote it in the program.
Yeah. And then and that makes perfect sense. Again, I'm thinking of you guys talking about your finals, right? When we're studying, it's good to be focused. So then for you, Ruba, what does it look like when you switch, when you go to scatter focus? How long can you do MATLAB? Do you do it for 3 or 4 hours? Like, how do you turn that off so that you can let your brain process things or think creatively? How do you do that?
I divided the program into parts.
Okay.
And then every time I make one part.
Okay. And how long is it? Do you do that part by time? Is it the number of equations?
I don't care for how long.
How long? And how long do you usually focus? How many hours at a time?
For example, 1 or 2 or 1.5.
Nice. Nice. Really nice. Cool. Love it. How about anybody else? Did you read this part of the book, or did these ideas make sense? Do you have these experiences in your own life of being focused and then, downtime, relaxing, letting your brain? Nasser, you finished the book.
Yes.
What's going on? What do you?
My question is about hyperfocus and scatter focus.
Yeah.
Focus. If I want to compare these two focus.
Yeah.
Hyperfocus, when I focus on one thing.
Yes.
Only one thing.
Yes.
And a scatter focus is focus more than one. The author use hyperfocus and scatter focus many times. And he say hyperfocus and scatter focus is the opposite.
Yes. Yes.
I understand this is correct. Main of hyperfocus, I focus only one thing. Yes. And scatter focus, I focus more than one.
I think that's true. I think part of it is more than one. And I also think, when you're hyper focused on a task, like I love Ruba's example of a MATLAB. That's you're sitting at the computer, you're trying to build or understand an equation. You have a very specific task that you're trying to finish, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone in this room could think of an example for school or for work or something where it's like, there's this one specific thing that I need to get done. There's a beginning, middle, and end, and I need to focus on that thing, right? Now, that type of thinking, usually you don't need a lot of creativity or critical thinking, right? Because it's like, I just have to do this thing. I don't need to worry about what it means or anything like that, right? So I think the only thing I would add to what you said, Nasser, is scatter focus can be focusing on many different things, but also sort of being open to creativity or open to questions about like, what is this thing? And like, how does it work? And what am I doing with it? And again, when you're focused, it's not a great time to be like, what does this mean? And why am I doing it? It's like, no, I don't need to worry about, why I'm doing the math equation. All I need to do is understand the equation. Do you know what I mean? And scatter focus is more about allowing your brain to think a little bit more in that non-linear way, a little bit more of a creative way. And what he argues and what the research actually shows is if you do that once in a while, again, you can't be in scatter focus all the time, right? You won't get things done. But if you do that once in a while, it actually helps you be more productive later on. I think in the past, he says that authors used to say, you know, if you're daydreaming, if you're just sort of like, you know, sometimes, I mean, I do this sometimes too, like sit on the couch and just kind of like stare at the ceiling a little bit, like just kind of let your brain wander. In the past, people would say, ooh, this is a waste of time. You're not being productive. You know, this is a problem, basically. But he's arguing, no, like sometimes you need to do that. You have to shut your brain down. You have to let it wander around and think creatively. And if you do, when you go into hyperfocus mode, you are actually more productive after that type of scattered thinking. Does that make sense?
Yes. My question,
Yeah.
I say you, I think when I like think, for example, I watch a movie.
Yes.
And I like this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't understand 1 hour finished. You know, this is a hyperfocus.
Yes. So you mean when you time, you're saying time went very fast. Time felt like yes, exactly. So if you're watching the movie and, you know, I mean, so, and this could be both, right? Sometimes you put on a movie and maybe you're on your phone and you're talking to someone else and you're not very focused, right? Like it's just on in the background. Other times you're right. You could put on a movie and you're just like you're there, you're watching every moment, you hear every word, you're very focused on the movie. And then absolutely, Nasser, you have that feeling of like, wow, that was a 2-hour movie, but it felt very fast. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
And opposite this hyperfocus is character focus.
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't, for example, I don't like learn English and I say, why? Time might have finished, you know?
That's right.
Time is very low, yes?
Yeah. Opposite is like, I'm teaching this class, like, and I'm on my phone while I'm teaching the class, and like I'm looking over, something's happening in the other side of the house, and I'm like, that's like, you know, my attention's like jumping around like a wild animal or something. And I will say, I think that's a good example too, though, Nasser, because being distracted is not quite the same thing as his point about scatter focus, right? In these chapters about scatter focus, he's saying you don't have to spend 3 hours doing scatter focus, but if you set a timer on your phone, 15 minutes, and just say, all I'm going to do is like sit in a chair, lie on the bed, lie on the floor, sit outside in the backyard, whatever, and I'm just going to sit and let my brain wander. That is different than being distracted, right? And that's what he's saying. Again, in the past, it'd be like, oh, you're being so lazy, sitting outside looking at a tree for 10 minutes. And he's saying, actually, if you choose to do that clearly and with intention, it helps you be more productive because it lets your brain go into that more creative mode. Yeah. And have you, Nasser, have you had this experience too, like with
yes, I have one experience.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I passed the linear equation.
Okay.
Yes. And my final exam, I have 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I have a final exam for linear equation.
Yeah.
Differential equation.
Okay.
Differential equation, I have 4 hours and I have a 10-page question.
Yeah.
After hours, my teacher say, Nasser, after 4 hours, the teacher say, Nasser, your time is finished. I never feel I write 4 hours in my exam, my final exam.
Yes.
I never felt I can focus in 4 hours.
Yeah. But you did.
And then I was very happy because my final exam is very good. Yeah, I never feel very, I was very relaxed and easy after my final exam finished. After 4 hours, I finished.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great example of, it sounds like you were in that, like he wrote about at the beginning of the book, right? That clear, hyper-focused state. Time moves very quickly. You feel very good and clear and like confident.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Great. How about scatter focus? Do you ever give yourself time to think creatively or just sort of do any of that scatter focus thinking that he writes about at the end? I think for most people, that's, students have less experience with that. Do you ever do that scatter focus type of thinking?
Sorry, please.
Well, I was just asking, Nasser or Ruba talked about this too. Anybody, do you guys have, like I was saying, for me, when I'm okay and life is more normal, sometimes like I said, I will go out. I don't have a big backyard, but just a little backyard. And there's a tree that I love. That's a big oak tree that I can see over the fence. I can't see the whole tree, but I love to sit outside in the sun, feel the sun on my face and watch the tree blow in the wind. Like for me, I'd say that's an example of this scatter focus thinking, right? Sometimes I look at my phone and I'm kind of distracted, but sometimes again, just 10 minutes to kind of watch the tree, feel the sunshine. That's something that I do for this kind of like scatter focus thinking, like giving my brain some time to relax, just like notice what comes in and think and feel. And again, so do you do anything like that? Or do you ever have those kind of moments where you just let your brain relax?
Yes, I have other experience. You know, when I want a hyperfocus, I need a special place.
It helps. He says.
Yeah.
He says it helps.
No sound, no other people, and it's helped me. I can hyperfocus.
Love it. Cool. Nasser's focused on the hyper focus.
Yeah.
Not too much about the scatter focus. How about anybody else? Anybody else have this or questions or ideas about this hyper focus, scatter focus thing? Gloria, go ahead.
As for me, I don't like linear type of thinking because after that I have feels grumpy and have headache. And all my good ideas I can make when I have non-linear thinking.
Nice. So do you, interesting. But of course you were talking about your chemistry final. This sounds like a very linear process, right?
Yesterday I was reading my chemistry for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand it quite because I was focused only in chemistry. I have a headache after that. I was nervous. Then I did all my work, and after 2 hours or 3, when I was relaxed, I saw my mistakes.
Okay. I love that example. Yeah, I think that's so true, right? And again, college isn't really good about that. I think, of course, yeah, I mean, like, I understand people come to school to get an education, work hard, all that stuff makes sense. But I think we don't talk about enough what you just said, Gloria, which is like, yes, okay, like work really hard and spend 2 or 3 hours reading or studying, but then you do have to walk away because if you just, I think that so many times students feel like, oh, I have to study for 7 hours. It's like if after 3 or 4 hours, your brain shuts down. Like it's like stress and anxiety, right? Like it's like why the way I talk about grades, I don't care about grades because when students are anxious about grades, what happens when we're anxious is we don't learn. Like when we're stressed, we don't remember what we learned. It's in one ear and out the other. So it's always like trying to find a balance between focus, effort, and you care, and that's good. But like as soon as you start to get freaked out or stressed out, the quality of your work goes down. And that's his point in the book, right? That's just our bodies. That's just the brain. Like there's nothing right or wrong or good or bad about it. Like that's just the operating system we've got, you know, that's just our human brain. So I love that example, Gloria. Yeah, like after I walk away, I'm like, oh man, now I can see all the mistakes that I made when I was trying to do this work after 3 or 4 hours and with a headache and all that stuff. I think that's totally true. That's totally true. Love it. Yeah, anybody else examples or questions, ideas about this hyperfocus, scatter focus stuff? Cool. Cool. Well, maybe for next week, so we do have one more class session and I will have a Zoom. I think what I'll do at that time is I'll have something prepared and ready just for a final review about summary and response. Obviously, we're not going to have another written assignment for points about the summary and response. But again, I do think that I'm really honestly very happy with the last 2 classes where we talked about summary and response. I think it made sense. And it's a valuable skill because it will help you when you go to 340 or to English 300 as you write your research papers. So maybe we can do a final sort of writing workshop about that next week. Yeah, and we'll see. I think hopefully the next weekend is going to be this, you know, the next, it's whatever, it's all going to suck. But the last 3 or 4 days were just so hectic. Like just for me, it was just so unpredictable. So whatever happens, I think my mom's going to be moved to the hospital the next couple of days. So that will suck, but at least, but you know, once she's in the hospital, I can't go see her. You can't drive. So, so again, at least there'll be some certainty there. So, that's all I got, you guys. Like I said, I'm happy to be here and answer any questions you have in any way, but I just was not able to prep a bunch of stuff for today's Zoom. So if you guys are good and you don't have questions, you are good to go. If you do, I'll stay here. I can be here until 2:15 to help you in any way I can.
I have example of how to be creative and productive.
Let's do it.
But I will find the picture in iPad, okay?
Yeah. So I can hang out with her, but you guys, like I said, you're free to go if you want to go. Bye, Gloria. Study hard.
Bye.
Good luck on your finals.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
It's in God's hands. I can't do anything. It's all up to God. I am powerless.
It's true.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you, Professor. Have a
Bye.
nice day.
I found this picture. This picture of brownies. Okay. When I every time I make brownies, I cut it in square, not in rectangle.
Yeah.
So this idea comes from this quote. Let me.
I was going to say, it looks like weave. It looks like weaving.
Yes.
Oh, I love
I have the quilt just like this.
Absolutely. Pattern.
This pattern.
Yeah.
Rectangles. So when I see this quilt, I got the idea to cut the brownies in this shape.
I love it, Ruba.
So scatter focus, I don't do scatter focus always.
Yeah.
Because the idea comes when it's time to come. I don't control this. But when I see something, I got an idea.
You said it perfect. I would not add anything. You just said it perfect. I love it. I like seeing Ruba's creativity. I love it. Great example, Ruba.
And I have another example about here in America, they have on craft, doing a craft and sewing. They have strips of fabric.
Yeah.
They call it jelly roll.
Jelly roll?
Yes, use it for sewing a quilt.
Oh, cool. Do you sew quilts, or do you know someone who makes?
No, I don't sew quilts, but I sew clothes.
Nice. Oh, cool. Okay.
So I use this this jelly roll and make a dress.
Amazing. I love it. And again, everything you're saying, Ruba, is exactly like we were talking about from the book, right? Like, again, I've already said it 2 or 3 times, but in the past, even 10 years ago, not that long ago, I think even scientists thought, oh, like, not that creativity is a waste of time, but that like creativity can get in the way of productivity, right? But I think, again, in the book, he's very clear, right? When you let your mind be creative, when you let your mind think in a different way sometimes, it actually helps you be more productive when you do get that hyper focus headspace, right? So like when you do need to focus for 2 or 3 hours, it's actually like because you, I think his argument basically is because you have a healthier brain overall, you know what I mean? You have a brain that's more balanced and more healthy overall, so that if you let yourself be creative, if you can imagine your brownies like a quilt, then when you do your math lab, your brain, you know, you can actually focus better. And it's another reason I love this book, because I just think balance is really important, right? Like if we're only productive all the time, I think something changes in us. Our heart and our spirits kind of get low, and then we don't really do great work. But if we can do both, you know, if we can be creative and really productive, I think some amazing things can happen. So I love those examples, Ruba.
When we call our routine and our things, we do it as it is the same every day. We use when we use new tools, new pattern, and new ideas, it will be better.
I agree. I totally agree. What do you think, Irina? You want to talk about this book or something different?
No, I think same things. Yes, I remember my previous class. I remember the time of my previous class when I wrote my comparing essay. Maybe I had thought maybe for 3 days about my outline for this essay. I couldn't create something, not all things, but in some paragraph, one paragraph. And I was thinking about, and I remember one time, it was morning. I was drinking coffee, and ideas came to me, and oh, it's Erica. I wrote. Margaret said I wrote a good essay.
Yeah.
It was because it was so difficult to compare 2 different stories, and I had to find some similar things between this story and comparing this and analyze this. Yes. Yeah. And I remember because I was nervous a lot in this time, and because I hard thought about it. Yes, and I agree. Scatter focus. Very helps me in my life. I prefer scatter focus than hyper focus.
Sometimes I prefer it too much. Yeah, I know. I know. I completely understand.
After hyper focus, I'm always tired.
Yeah.
Yes,
You...
I agree, especially when you solve math problems.
Yeah.
Scatter focus helps a lot. Because if you can't solve some problem,
yeah,
I go away. I can wash dishes or drink coffee or tea, and after maybe 30 minutes, I try doing this again, and after I can do it.
I love it. Do you, so you mentioned coffee. Do you have a specific, like, I love Ruba's examples about baking, thinking about quilts, looking at patterns. You mentioned like you're just sort of, I'm imagining you sort of sitting and relaxing, drinking coffee.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have,
yes.
Like, and I said, I sometimes like to go look at trees. That really, I don't know, something about that really helps me clean out my brain a little bit. Is there any other specific things that you do for that kind of scatter focus thinking?
I don't know, maybe some homeworks. Music helps me a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I like listening to music, yes, and it helps me a lot, yes.
That's great. Oh, I love that example. I agree totally.
Especially I see when I sit in my car and I'm driving and listening to music, and a lot of ideas are created in my mind in this moment.
Fantastic. I love it. I love that. I love that. Music is, I think,
yes.
You guys, you all know how much I love language, but I think music is even, I think music is the best thing that humans do. I think music is the greatest gift that human beings offer to the earth that no other animal does. You know, birds and whales and stuff, they make beautiful sounds, but music is just such an amazing thing humans do. So I love that example, Irina. I love it.
Yes, it relaxes a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you, Jeffrey. I want to say you to be strong. I know you have not good time in this period, but I believe it will be better. Maybe sometimes it's not. It can't be better, but we have to find good things in bad things.
That's right.
It helps you so much. Yes, and be strong and be kind to yourself, especially.
I gotta be the hero for my brother and my sister and my mom, and I think that's the problem. Is I'm still learning how to be nice to myself and go slow, and you know, I think I'll get to practice that for my whole life. But I appreciate it, Irina. I know I appreciate it because you're right. That's my biggest challenge.
Yes, yes.
If, you know, my younger brother, oh yeah, let me take care of you. Oh yeah. And then, Jeff, do you need any help? No, I never need help. Oh my God. We'll see. Yeah, I mean it. I mean, it is not up to me what will happen to my mom. I just get to choose what I get to do. And I think that just means I need to go. Like, I needed to be there this week, and I need to be in Stockton tomorrow, because like I said, when she gets moved to the hospital, then there's no window, you know, there's no windows and stuff. So, okay. So it's like, let's say, Jeff, you have 2 days, you can choose, are you going to drive to Stockton tomorrow? Like, you can't choose what will happen to your mom's health, but you can choose what you will do. You know, will you get in the car and go? And it's like, I'm going to get in the car and go, you know? That's it. That's the only choice we get, I think, in life, I think. So thank you for your kind words, Irina. It's been a weird semester. I can't believe it's only been 3 months. Like I said, like thinking about when Gloria was saying that the listening class was this in Ruba was in the same class. Ruba was in that class with Gloria. That was March, Ruba. Do you feel like that, is your sense of time different, or am I making that up? Like, has COVID and the quarantine, has it affected your perception of time, or does it just feel normal, or what?
No, just, yeah, and this year, we start being online.
Yeah. Yeah.
That semester was half online and half at campus.
But I mean, like, it was January of this year, Ruba. I met you January of this year, January 2020. And I'm a bit of a dramatic person. Okay, so forgive me, but it really does feel much longer than that to me. It really does feel like much longer than that. So maybe you're right, Ruba. Maybe that's because being online so much changes our perception. I'm certainly changes our perception.
Because your conditions is your mom is sick and you have more stress and you have classes to get prepared for the classes.
But how about you? Everybody has stress. But you guys as students, do you feel like, but what about being a student doing online class? Do you feel like time feels different for you as a student too, or no?
No, I don't feel like a student because I taught for 21 years.
True too, yeah.
But here I'm taking the classes only to, they let me be a tutor, and the tutoring is kind of teaching.
Yes. That's true. Ruba, you have an interesting perspective on all this stuff. You're right.
When I was a student, I worried about grade, worried about how to complete because electrical engineering was hard department, and our teachers were strong and hard to us.
Yeah.
But when I start teaching, I did, my feelings were completely different.
Interesting. When you were a teacher, what did you, so you said when you were a student, you were worried about your grades. When you were a teacher, did you worry about anything when you were teaching?
Yes, I worried about if I don't understand the material, how can I make the student understand?
That makes sense.
So I use many ways to let them understand and try to fight the ideas of thinking and worrying about grades, because students, when they came to the class, how can I pass this class? This is the most thing they thinking about.
It's yeah, and you know my opinion. I think it's the least important question of all. Like, I think it's not. I don't think it's important at all. Like, again, I've taken. I was in grad school for so long. I have 2 master's degrees. You know what I mean? Like, I was a student for a long time. I've gotten A's in a class where I learned nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you get the grade. That doesn't mean you actually learned anything. And but it's true, Ruba. Students are obsessed. Students are obsessed with the grade, you know. And again, you know, I'm obsessed with balance. So how to find a balance?
They are focusing only on a grade.
I know.
So I said, once you understand the materials, and when you have the exam, think of how you answer the question, not how will I pass or not.
Yeah. It's
because
hard.
if you don't answer the question correctly, you will not pass. So why you are worrying? Think about answering, not passing.
Yeah.
I asked about my grades because I don't know about my writing skills. I don't know, maybe I have a lot of mistakes and I want to figure out this and learn this and ask you about why I did these mistakes, or how can I change my mind, or change my writing skill.
Yeah.
Yes. And
ask about feedback, not on grade.
I know that about both of you guys. I know that about both of you guys. I think actually next spring, like I keep thinking about when Ruba said I was meticulous. I love that. I've been thinking about that since you said that. But I do think next semester, I'm just going to give, it's right now with online teaching for me, it feels impossible to give. I mean, you know, Irina, you were in my reading class and I was still able to give feedback to students in a reading class. And I feel like right now though, because I'm teaching 4 classes all online and trying to create stuff online, doing feedback like that is impossible. So I think for the spring, what I want to do is just give students a number score right away, really fast. Like, okay, you have an 86 or whatever. And then like, if I'm talking to a student like Irina or working with a student like Ruba, then it's, and then come to a Zoom. Like when Irina, when we got to do one-on-one Zooms, like, and talk about your work, I don't know. I think that was really helpful. I feel like one-on-one, if a student wants that feedback, then it's so much easier for me to do that on Zoom than to be alone in my house at like 1 a.m, stressing out, trying to like give every student feedback. So I think that's one way I'm going to fix this so that students don't have the experience that you're having now, Irina, which is, I know that you care much more about the feedback and learning than about the grade. I know that. I know I've been lucky enough to work with you in 2 classes, so I know that about you. So it's really weird though, because as a teacher, I'm obsessed with, I want to help students learn. So, you know, you can spend hours giving feedback to students on an essay. And a student like Irina maybe care a lot and is really interested. And some students might never read it. They might never look at it. Like all they care about is the grade. And I think, I've been thinking about that for years, about like, how am I going to make that? How do I fix that? And I think in the spring, that's what I'm going to try, is like just do really fast grading with not a lot of feedback. And then say, if you want feedback, come talk to me. You know what I mean? And then we can spend a lot of time. That's me being meticulous, Ruba.
I agree with you.
That's how I'm going to try and fix that in the spring. What do you think? Yeah, does that?
I love your ideas about when we were in the listening, you asked us about recording our voices.
Yeah.
And in writing, you ask us about writing and reading. These skills very helpful.
It's meta awareness, and it's how humans learn, I think, Ruba. It's when you become aware of how you learn, when you become aware of how you think, amazing things can happen, you know? And that's much harder for students, because students, like you were just saying, Ruba, they want the answer, right? They're like, what's the right answer? And it's like, well, you know, what have you learned about reading and writing? There's no one right answer. You know what I mean? Like you have to think about it. Like you have to actually think about it. And then something happens, you know, and then hopefully something happens in your mind and your heart, and something happens. And I think that's what I as a teacher, that's my goal, is to give students the opportunity to do that. Again, I think I know a lot of stuff. I think I know, like you were saying, Ruba, you can't teach something you don't know. I totally agree. I mean, like, I think I know a lot of content. I know a lot of ideas, but I don't know. You can read content. You can watch YouTube videos about any content in the world now in human history. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to learn about how to write summary and response, you can go watch YouTube videos for free. There's like hundreds of them. You know what I mean? But what I think I am trying to do as a teacher is, like I said, create space and create moments and create opportunities where a student's like, oh, like, I didn't I'd never thought about it that way. That's like my favorite thing, you know, for a student to say, oh, I'd never thought about it that way. Or like you were saying, Ruba, I'd never thought about making brownies look like a quilt. I love that. Like that's why we're here, I think. You know, that's.
I've never thought about making this pie. Brownie.
Exactly. But now you're just listening to me talk about my philosophy. Now I'm just in full-on philosophy mode now, you guys. So. But again, I think it's because I love what Ruba was saying. Ruba, you still feel more like a teacher than a student. Of course, that makes perfect sense. 21 years as a professor, that makes perfect sense. But again, it's easy. I mean, I love my job for so many reasons, but it's really wonderful to get to work with students like you, the two of you, because you just care a lot about everything, I think, but not just, you know, the one right answer. The one right answer is kind of a boring way to go through life. It's important, but like if that's the only thing you care about, it's kind of boring. Well, thanks for talking to me today. That was fun.
Okay.
Take a break. Go do some scatter focus. We were you got 45 minutes where we were supposed to be in class, and now you're free. Go drink some coffee, pet your dog, go sit in the sunshine, go look at a quilt, go take care of yourselves.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, you guys.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a nice
Thank you. Bye.
weekend. Yes.